everybody. I'm Kelly Leger, and this is Set Life coming from For the One Studio in Studio One, along with
Amber Buto.
And our special guest today, dear friend of mine, really closer than friend, family. This is actually my cousin. This is Matt Brannon from Gravity Digital, and we get to have him here today. Lots to share today, huh?
I'm so happy to be here.
Woo!
This is exciting for me. Thank you.
We are so glad to have you here. We've got the opportunity, well, he's got the opportunity to work with you a lot. I've got the opportunity to work with y'all quite a few times if y'all have been here. Fun fact, we were not even opened yet here at the studio.
Right.
And you called and was like, hey, do you think it would be okay if my cousin came and shot at the studio? And I was like, oh my gosh. I was all paranoid, like, everything's not ready. Everything's not perfect.
Right.
So I don't know. And you're like, it's going to be fine. Deep breathe, Amber. It's going to be fine. And I was like, yeah, if they understand that just everything's not like in place and perfect. And you're like, they're going to get it. It's fine. And I was like, great, would love to. So y'all were the first ones to come and film here.
Wow,
the first ones to
yes.
sign our wall. So you're forever grandfathered into you.
Totally.
And we were blown away. We walked in and were like, this is incredible. We just want to live here. It's
Aw.
awesome. Love this place.
Everyone come and live here. For the day.
Yeah, for the day. Yeah, so super excited to have you on. It's been great to get to work together and have this working relationship. And your story has been a really cool journey.
Yes.
You didn't just end up here. Like it
No.
started many years ago for you, and it's taken different twists and turns and all of that. And the whole idea of this podcast is to get to hear inspiring stories of people in the industry, how you got here, some of the lessons that you learned along the way. Lord knows we can learn from each other, and I hope that's what we do here. And so I would love for you to share your story of how you got into it. And did you start here? Did you always think you were going to be here? What did that look like for you?
Right. So I actually started, I did theater for when I was a kid. And so actually was a classically trained actor, did theater at Baylor University. That's where I met my wife. And so did that, got married, and then worked for a while. And then one day decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. Let's go to Los Angeles. Let's give it a go. Try to be an actor. And
Hollywood or bust.
And now here we are almost 20 years later, and I am not an actor.
Yeah, but even in that, I mean, your story was really cool. I mean, you worked for...
Yes, I worked for it was the governor of Texas. I worked for the governor, Rick Perry, which loved that opportunity. And so, typically I was in this role where I was traveling with him every day for like 3 years. And when I decided I'm going to make this move, I'm going to go for it. And my wife, Jenny, she was on board. And so I told the governor, I was like, I want to go be an actor. And look, this is like in politics and government and all this stuff. And he's like, you what now? I was like, yeah, I want to go be an actor. He's like, well, okay. I don't know how much I can help you with that, but he was able to set me up with a couple of meetings when I got there. And so one of the very first ones, I'm like fresh off the boat in Los Angeles, like stars in my eyes, like Texas boy has come to the big city. And I walk in to Jerry Bruckheimer's office, and I walk in the lobby, and he's got like the massive, like the flag from the Black Pearl. Like up on the wall, like the
Jerry
flag,
Wow.
from the Black
Pirates of
Pearls.
the
Like, so I
Caribbean,
walk in and already I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm here, I'm really here. So I'm freaked out, and I am like 1,000% not prepared for this meeting. And so the meeting was not with Bruckheimer; it was with his executive producer Chad Oman, who was a very nice man. And he very kindly. Well, what he said was, now, Matt, an actor's got to be smart. And I think when he said that,
this is already hurting me. Go continue.
I think we both were acknowledging I'm not here at the right time. Like, I was not prepared. Like, this meeting, Malcolm Gladwell talks about to have mastery of something, you have to have about 10,000 hours in.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just showed up. I'm just like, hey, can you put me in a movie?
That sounds like a good idea.
And so he was very nice, but I think we were both acknowledging this meeting's a little premature. So I was very thankful to have the meeting. It left a mark on me. But yeah,
Scar.
just a little too early on that.
But I think that's such a great story for the fact that everybody's just like, I can't wait for the big break. We talked
Right.
in the before the episode was airing about how that myth that you went out with thinking, oh, I'm going to get my break. Here's
Right.
my break. I'm going to get a big break. And like literally it's a suddenly big break and you are off to the races being this big star.
Yeah.
When actually that's not so much the way that it works.
It's a job just like anything else.
Yeah.
And you have to, put in the time. And for me, it was like, I just needed to go be on set and watch and see how things worked and see what everyone on set was doing and be around people who had done this a long time and watch masters do their thing. Like, I just needed to go learn those lessons. And that's what I needed, not, hey, put me in a movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And another thing that you had said in that too that I really thought was good for our listeners to hear was when you went into that opportunity and you got the news that you got, but he also said a few other things to you too, but you went in with one thing in mind.
Right.
And I see this a lot.
Yeah.
You're like, I just want this one thing. You don't have the ability to go like, I'll take any opportunity in this room right now.
Exactly.
Like I'm in here. So like, what are the opportunities that are here? And if you're open to even seeing that,
Yeah.
if we get so narrow focused on this is all it is, when what if you had the, like you said, off air?
Just real quick, do you mind? Can I do this meeting over again? Will you guys be Chad Omen for me? And I can
yeah.
just sit here now
I
and
like,
be like,
role playing.
this
would
is
be fun.
like, let me try this again. Mr. Omen.
Stretch my acting.
This is going to be great.
What an honor to be here. Listen, I'm a writer and an actor, and I love storytelling. I love your work. I've done some research, and here's my research. But also, I'm just looking for opportunities. I just want to learn. I want to be around, people who are really great at what they do, and I want to be inspired, and I want to get better by being around them. Is there any opportunities that you can think of where I can do that, and where I can grow, and where I can, learn how to make my mark in this industry? Like,
Bingo.
how can I do that? Guide me. I'm new. Help me.
Wow. You're not just an actor looking for a part? Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
My coffee's cold.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's
That's it.
spot on. Spot on. I mean, that's what we were talking about, before we went on air, that just we get so focused on certain things in the industry that we miss that of just what opportunities are there and being humble to say, I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
But you do know, and I am just honored to be here and have an opportunity to help in whatever way I can help. And start there. Just start there and see what unfolds. Ask the right questions and be a bit prepared. I think researching is another really great thing. And, but hey, we all learn. Like how many people, I'm sure there's many people watching this too, that have kind of done the same thing and like jumped off and then here this opportunity is and then they realize, whoa,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm maybe not prepared to do that. I said yes to this, but I really don't know.
I mean, how many people went out, to start a business, right? And then you find out how hard it is to start a business, which is why most businesses fail.
Yeah.
I mean, same as anything else, acting. So you went out to LA to do this meeting.
Yep.
And you stayed, you came home. What unfolded like at that point?
Yeah, so I worked at it for a little while. I joined SAG, I got the manager, I got the agent, did all the things that you're supposed to do. And I will say I have done my research here and I have watched this podcast. And on a previous episode, you were talking about how it's a danger to find your identity in your work, in your craft, in your art.
Yeah.
Well, that is very much the life that I was living. And like the burden, the weight of that.
Yeah, so good.
Trying to be an actor and like every audition was life and death because man, if this doesn't work out, then who even am I?
Yeah. That's good.
Like that's where I was living. And so I truly do love to create. I truly do love to make things, but the joy was like gone.
Yeah.
And so I basically gave up and I started working. I was working at a hospital at the time and just kind of like was enjoying living in Los Angeles for a while because it was a cool place to live. And Jenny and I were having a great time going to the beach and eating good food and all the things. And then gradually over time, because everybody in Los Angeles is connected to entertainment in some ways, people just started inviting me in on things just for fun.
Yep.
And so just started to go in and, create again and do it with joy because there wasn't any pressure on it.
Right.
It was just like, let's go make something. Yeah, that sounds great. And so started to find this joy again, and then started to take on other roles. Like this was, almost 20 years ago, before anybody could go blow up and have a YouTube channel. And this was still kind of like in the big studio environment. But that was just kind of starting to happen, where you could go out and kind of, if you made something, like you could actually put it in front of other people without, having to have a huge backer or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was starting to happen. And so I started to see some opportunities and where I could be a creator and not have to be in front of the camera. And so that led to my brother-in-law, your cousin, came out to visit, and you and he and I went down to Laguna Beach, and we shot a little pilot. It was like a Travel Channel type pilot thing.
I remember.
And
Wait, was this the Kelly that had dreads?
this was after the
this
dreads.
is- yeah,
this
this
is
is
post-dreads.
This is post-dreads.
Check
Okay.
Kelly, yes.
All right. Okay.
So we went down and we did that. And at the time, my wife and I were thinking about, we were ready to start a family, ready to have kids. We wanted to be back in Texas to do that. And my brother-in-law, Casey, was in Texas, her brother. And we were like, man, we really had fun doing that.
Remember the name of that? Acting with acting.
Was it Acting Up? No.
Acting Up?
Was it Acting Up?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were actors. You're in California.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
and you're
And then we were upgrading our lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's it.
It was Acting Up.
trying to do all the Southern California thing on a budget.
Yeah.
So all
That's
the stuff.
exactly what it was.
Oh,
I
this
remember
sounds
that.
brilliant.
Acting Up. It was good.
And I just remember, like, this was like total guerrilla style deal, and we were at a really nice resort.
Laguna.
And you were like walking around with that camera, and I'm like, we're gonna get so busted, they're gonna kick us out of here. And you had like no fear. It was amazing.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that.
Imagine that.
But anyway, we had such a great time doing that I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he had a marketing agency here in Texas, and I was like, hey, maybe we should do this together. In fact, I think he proposed that to me. He was like, I know you're thinking about moving to Texas. Would you have any interest in, doing this with us? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so we were focused on making TV commercials. This was 10 years ago. And so that's kind of how that journey started, from going to not being an actor in Los Angeles to Gravity Digital.
So fast forward to Gravity Digital, you are now the creative director?
Yes, creative director.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So, wow.
And so that was about 10 years ago. And so talking about like the whole 10,000 hour Malcolm Gladwell thing,
Right.
I kind of feel like I've started to get that mastery in the thing now with what I do
Yes.
here,
Okay.
which feels good.
Okay.
I didn't do the blown meeting right off the bat
Right.
that time. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, okay. So from Texas to California, back to Texas. Now, this is like a crazy loaded question, but what did you learn? What were the big picture? Give me big picture. Like,
yeah. Well, part of it is, creatively speaking, like always put yourself in a position to be around people who are better at it than you are. And really, oh gosh.
listen, I have to say this before we move on, because you said something to me at one point when we were talking about your journey, and you said a relaxed thing is better than a tense thing.
Yes.
And that sounds
Yeah.
really simple, but
Yes.
like anybody who has ever had such pent up, I have to do this one thing with my life knows exactly what that's like.
Yeah,
And that
that's
sweet spot of just being able to breathe and step in. Like as a director who has been in many, many auditions, casting, there was a huge difference between someone who came in there crazy nervous and like that.
You usually know it from the slate, don't you?
Yeah,
You know
that's
it from
true.
the slate.
That's true. Yeah, no, it's true. And I felt bad for the people who would come in, like that, and I do my best to get them to relax.
Yeah.
But it was so much easier to cast the people who were relaxed because I was getting genuine them.
Yeah.
Which is who I wanted to cast. That's who I wanted on camera.
Yeah.
Was relaxed, genuine them.
Yeah.
So it was just a recipe for not working out. And the relaxed thing was really, when you said that, I was like, that's such a good, simple thing to remember. And that goes for anything. We try to force things so much of the time. and knowing when it's the right season for something or not. Or
Yeah, it makes me think too, though, like it's one thing to say that. We can all say that. And you kind of know that, especially in maturity as you get older, right?
Sure.
But something on the sports side of things that I would tell my kids, like both played soccer and one was also a kicker. And, all the pressure is on one moment in a penalty kick and also a field goal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like in the stands sweating and just vibrating up there like, oh my gosh. But I would tell my kids in that moment, trust the amount of hours you have prepared for this very moment, and then trust the moment. Take a deep breath and trust your body mechanics already know this. Like clockwork, it already knows it. Trust that.
That's good.
And that's, a philosophy to tell yourself when you're about to go into a big role or you're about to take on something. It's something I try to remind myself, just relax. You've already been given all the ability. You've been practicing this. Yeah. You have been refining this. I think that's why the preparation is so important, and that's why it takes the 10,000 hours. That's why to get to that place where you can just trust the moment and trust yourself in that and the gifts and the talents that you've been given. No, that's a process.
Yeah.
I heard Taylor Swift say that, she still gets nervous. How many hours has she done that deal, right? Like a lot. And she said, but it's healthy to have a little bit of that nerves. You're still human and you still care.
Right.
Like you still have an expectation, but then how you're able to maneuver and control that.
Right.
Yeah.
As you navigate that process of whether it's running camera, whether it's acting, whether it's producing, where there is high amounts of pressure.
Well, nervousness is energy, right? So I heard one time they like in terms of intensity of energy, nervousness is about the same as excitement. So if you can somehow pivot that nervousness to excitement, I try to do that.
Easier said than done. Yeah.
It is.
Oh, but that's so good. That's very true.
Yeah.
I love that. We're actually, a lot of what we do is on the other side of the world when we serve in our mission stuff that we do, and we're standing before tens of thousands of people all the time. I guess I really never thought about it. For me, it is exciting.
Yes.
I don't ever stand up there going, oh no, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Because it's stuff that's already in your heart you're doing, right? But that's that.
You're
it's
so
that
prepared.
Excitement. Yeah, that's
Think
true.
of the times that you've been nervous, and then think of the preparation before it. The preparation wasn't there. The times that you are most nervous, you feel like you have to be in control over it, versus the times that you're ultimately prepared. You're like, this thing's going whether we want it to or not, folks.
Truth is, you controlled it a lot earlier when you were preparing. That's when you controlled it.
Yes.
You controlled the moment in your preparedness to be there.
Yeah.
I like this.
But you were control. I'm glad you brought up control.
Oh, here we go.
Because you were asking me one thing I've learned, and that is one thing I have learned.
I thought he was going to pull out my dirty laundry because he's known me for too long. Okay, go ahead.
No, none of that.
Okay.
But I've learned that control, if I try to white knuckle my way as a creative director through a project, trying to control every little thing, or even worse, like letting ego get in there and like this is mine. Like this thing is mine. Like if I go through a project like that, it's gonna just be terrible. And so it's like collaboration, and we have a brain trust, and so it's people that we're able to run stuff by creatively that I have they don't work for us. They can be completely honest and give us negative feedback, and it's not going to affect them, and it's like, and here's my honest opinion. And it's people that I really respect, people that I think are better than me at a lot of things. And so like just dropping the ego and dropping the control sometimes, and being able to admit that, yeah, your way's better on this.
It's good.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Like that's a big one.
Oh yeah.
I completely
It makes everything
agree.
better though.
It does.
It makes everything better.
does.
I love that. I mean, I mean, anybody who's ever worked with me on a production set directing wise, you'll know that we're like probably the least prima donna versions of producers and directors ever. Yeah. Because we love the collaborative process. It makes it better. I mean, before we walked in here, we're watching a video that you guys all had feedback on, and it's because it's beautiful, because it makes it better.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. That's the way you should do it.
And I also think, that video is just incredible. I mean, it's going to do amazing things in this world. Your ministry does amazing things in this world, but sometimes it the opinions of others may not even be what you use to change, but it spurs a different creative bent in you.
Yes.
Right? As the
Yes.
creator
Yes.
of that. And so as somebody giving suggestions, and your suggestion may not be picked up or they don't like it, you can't take that personal.
Right.
That you just, it's an opinion at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
And I should say, I hope when I give opinions, one, it's just my opinion, and that I don't take that personal. And two, if you don't take it, I hope it spurs something. Maybe it solidifies, nope, that's what I needed to do.
Exactly.
Or,
you could do that. Yeah.
no, but not there, but I should do that here. It just, that's the ping ponging off of creativity.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
we can't just take those things so personal. And I think
It's
we
so
do
true.
that in creativity. But again, I think that's when our identity is in our art.
Yes. Yes.
And how good of a suggestion we can give, and if we're the one that made that change,
Right.
and if we have ownership over that,
good.
and all of that, you just go like, no, I am a piece of
Right.
a piece of this product. I'm a
Right.
part of this. I'm not it. I am just
Because all that is basically saying this whole purpose of this project is for me to shine.
yes,
If we go that way,
Yeah.
if we go that self
Yeah.
arrogant pride, that we're saying this is really all about me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that in and of itself is going to mess your message up, whatever you're trying to get out there anyway.
Yeah.
It has to.
yeah,
It has
yeah,
to.
and taint the art that you're creating, and you just don't want to work with people like that.
No.
You
no,
you just
don't.
don't.
No, you don't.
It's
Okay, so this reminded me now. Okay, so now at Gravity, Gravity Digital, creative director there. Collaboratively speaking, you guys are doing something. I'm probably have heard of it before, but maybe not. Maybe it was the first time I heard it when you guys did it, and it's super cool. And I want you to talk more about it. I want to hear about it. It's this writing
Retreat.
retreat that you do. Talk about that a little bit, because this is cool. I want to do this. I want to do something like this.
and like, who is
Yeah.
it for?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
who
just
goes on this writing
What's it
retreat?
for?
What is
Who's
it
it
for?
for?
Who's
What's
it?
the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were not the first ones to do it, but we love it.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just this opportunity where if we're going to go create a big campaign for a client that's going to go like kind of broad awareness type stuff, we will go get like an Airbnb somewhere nice, somewhere fun. We'll kind of stock it with good food, and we'll have stuff catered. Like, it's a good environment. And so what we'll do is we'll invite writers, comedians, like some of those brain trust people that I was talking about, basically a bunch of creative people getting together in this one fun place. And we spend 2 days just focusing on this campaign, and we're going to walk away with an amazing script. And so the first day we will have the client there, and they will it allows our writers and our other people to get to hear from them directly, kind of get to learn what the business is about, get to learn about, who the audience is, what's important to them, like what are those strings that we can pluck that's going to resonate with them and actually make them feel something rather than, okay, well, what's the value props? It's like, how can we make this something special? Mm-hmm. And so after they kind of learn from the client goes away, so we can, do real talk.
Throw stuff up.
Yeah. And so we'll do it one of two ways. The first way is that we will say, okay, you guys have heard everything, and we'll kind of walk through some loose guidelines. Okay, so we got to have these things in place. We have to have a call to action. Here's what it needs to be. These are some objections we need to tackle. Or it's like whatever like the marketing-y things are, we say, okay, you have to include those.
Highlight this.
Yes.
This feature, whatever.
Exactly. Otherwise, go. And so they will spend the rest of the first day and the first night, and we don't allow them to talk because groupthink like kills stuff. Because we want them to be completely independent thinkers, at least in the primary stages, so that we have really unique, original concepts coming on the second day. And we don't want them to be influencing each other at all at that point. And so we come back the second day, and it's so fun because everybody reads their stuff. And it's just like mind-blowing. It's like, you're a genius. Like these people, I'm like blown away every time at the stuff they come up with.
And I'm assuming, like, if you're going to go comedy, you get guys who are prone to comedy.
Yes, we have comedians.
Genres.
Yes.
Okay, specific. Okay.
For sure. And sometimes we have people that know a lot of marketing stuff, and sometimes we have people that are just funny, just funny people.
Okay.
And it's like, because when we get into the second stage, we're going to all collaborate on whatever the chosen concept is.
Okay.
And that's the part when I really it's one of the few moments that I have that's not fun being the creative director is after people have like given all these amazing concepts. It's like, and the writers are sitting right there. It's like, okay, which one are we going to pick?
I feel like you're on the playground in kindergarten and it's like,
No.
not you, not
Yeah.
you.
When the truth is, we usually feel great about most of them. And it's like, we could really move forward with pretty much any of these, but they're so different. We're going to pick one. And so here we go. And then the rest of the second day is coming together and everybody working on that one concept and just polishing it up until it's great. The other way that we do it, which kind of makes the second day a little bit easier, is like the first, before we send everybody off on their own, we'll give them the concept. We'll say, okay, it's going to be in the Wild West. Okay, so everybody write about this product in the Wild West, go. And so that way, some of the concepts that we get back, they're all in the Wild West, so the pieces fit together a little easier.
Right.
Yeah.
If we need to combine some stuff.
Outer space versus New York City.
You basically just paint the world.
Yeah.
So write your concept within this world. What does that look like for you?
Got it.
I just keep thinking in my mind, like, how many of those come back similar?
No, never, hardly.
Never.
Hardly ever.
Wow.
Every
Isn't
once in
that
a while.
amazing?
Yeah, it is amazing. It's like, how did you come up with that?
Like, how did everyone hear the same information?
Yeah.
Okay. The same information. Everyone's in the same room, hearing the same information. And I'll go away and say, think a little harder on this, and then come back and tell us what you came up with. Okay, this also, sidebar, this is why you can have two parents that raise multiple children and they all come out differently.
Yeah.
It's
right.
That's the way we interpret information, process it, and then communicate it. Right? That is so
Every director would do it differently.
Yeah.
Every writer would write somebody's autobiography differently, different perspective, different lens, different optics. Everyone would be different.
That's so great. That
is
shows
great.
how uniquely, individually, we've all been created and made into a certain view, time, purpose, everything, you know, and everyone is valid and everyone is needed. It's just refining your voice. And just because you're not the one that's selected doesn't mean that you weren't relevant or not needed. It just didn't fit that little peg
That's
hole,
why there's
right?
infinite possibilities with media, with what we're doing. And somebody said, oh, that's been done before. I wanted to do that. Well, nobody's done it the way that you see it, the way you're going to do it, the way do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and then you walk away with the script, and then we hand it off to a director, and that's going to,
You write it all over
it's
again.
going to feel completely different. And then we're going to hand it off to the editor.
True.
Yeah.
And then he's going to put in some like little Foley sounds, and he's going to change the timing a little bit, and he's going to do little things with graphics. And it's like, everybody's got a hand in this deal.
It's
and,
true.
and it gets better.
It does.
That also makes me think of I can say, in order to be in an environment, it's not, you have to be like-minded, but I say you have to be like-hearted. Like, you have to have the same heartbeat. You have to have the same kind of like jam, right? Like, you got to
Sympathetic
both.
resonance.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to have like.
You know what that is?
No, I don't-
Sympathetic
no.
resonance?
No,
It's
what's
like
sympathetic
on a
resonance?
guitar, if you pluck the E,
Yes.
the other E string will vibrate. Because the similar notes with the similar frequencies make each other vibrate.
They
Oh my
respond.
gosh,
So it's the
each
same
other.
with people.
that's so cool.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Look, we just did.
I'm saying she's lives.
Yes, that is. But I do say that is what makes what we do work. That's that synergy of having that same heartbeat of like what you're creating and being able to do and put together. There's like an unknown, unsaid.
It's when you say you find your people, or
Yeah.
that's my
Yes.
community, or that's
Yes.
my.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I like it. Sympathetic resonance. All
Oh,
right.
art's our new word.
Oh yeah.
It's our new word.
Every once in a while, I'm
Did
like,
you play an instrument?
sympathetic resonance.
It's actually my band name.
No way.
I'm in a band. It's called sympathetic resonance, brah.
I feel like y'all just had a cousin moment.
We had a moment.
Y'all had a moment.
Sympathetic resonance.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really great. And I can see how that would be a fun thing to be a part of.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It's a blast. It's like my favorite thing.
I
to do.
love it.
Yeah, sounds like a really cool way of fleshing out ideas and really collaborating and bringing home the end goal for the client.
Yeah.
So that's a really great
Results.
thing y'all do.
Talk about so how have the results? How have clients responded? How was that? You've done those things now. Like, what do you?
Yeah, well, we were talking about preparation. When you do that much research and that much preparation and bring together like really creative people, we have yet to have someone who wasn't just thrilled with it creatively. And results wise, every time we do one of these, what I'll call just like big campaigns where we're doing that much work, we have not yet not doubled someone's revenue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's
Proof's
great.
in the pudding.
Yep.
Okay, so what's next for Gravity Digital? What's next for Matt Brannon?
What's next for Gravity Digital? Oh gosh. I mean, hopefully we're going to work more here. We just love to be
Yay.
here.
We like that.
Yeah, more production,
Yeah.
making more money for clients,
Yep.
working more with highly creative people.
Yep.
I mean, hopefully just more of that. That's what's
Good.
next for Gravity, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's next for Matt Brannon? I'll tell you what, I've got a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they're going to tell me what's next. Because it's just like, they're the adventure right now.
Wow.
It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a golden time in our house.
Sure.
With those,
So
those
true.
kids.
It is so true.
I love that.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of either dance or baseball or basketball or soccer or something.
Something.
It's a lot of
All that
schedules.
stuff.
Yeah,
All that stuff.
a lot of scheduling. So,
I love it.
well, I hope that we are doing many more projects together.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, we love you guys. Y'all do such great things. Your crew, I have to speak to your crew. Your team is great to work with. Everybody is really, really great. Y'all foster a really great community at Gravity Digital, which I really like. A lot, we've
True.
interchanged crew. And my crew loves going with your crew, and they enjoy y'all immensely. I come back here, and they're like, we were in the back seat with Casey and Matt, and the whole time I was like, oh, like doubled over. I had stomach pains coming home. I laughed so much, and it's just so good. So, thanks for making the world a better place. Thanks for just being who you are in this industry and shining your light into the industry to make it a better place and a fun place to work and be a part of. And we're super glad that you came and spent time with us today out of y'all's busy schedule of all the things y'all do. So thanks.
Thank you for likewise doing the same thing, and thank you for helping me find a little bit of healing today with my,
Yeah.
with my Bruckheimer experience.
So if people want to find you, if people want to find Gravity Digital, how do they interact? How do they find this amazing agency to work with?
Yeah, we're at gravitydigital.com on the interwebs, or Gravity Digital on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, Matt Brannon. That's where you can find us.
Awesome.
And we'll have all of that in
Yeah.
the description and everything like
Well,
that for you to find them.
I highly suggest them. Gravity Digital, love them. Yes, they're family, but they feel like working with family, even if you're not family. So I mean, look them up, find them. Doubling revenues, there's nothing wrong with that. So anyway,
Yeah, I think it's really great what they do as far as not just on the creative side, but they have a lot of brilliance on the marketing, being able to market what they create, which is the greatest.
I'll just
marriage.
insert this. For not being a mega agency, big agency size-wise, I know very few that are medium-sized agencies or small agencies that would go to that much effort for a client. Like that's genuine care. That's next level steps and processes to ensure they're taking care of their clients. So just good stuff. So I know we got to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
So this has been Set Life, coming to you from 4 the 1 Studio. In Studio 1, I'm Kelly Leger,
I'm Amber Buto.
along with Matt Brannon today. We'll see you next time.